Hello everyone and welcome to the Transit Nomad family. Please make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. Today we are going to explore Broadway, which is the busiest bus street in San Diego. I have not filmed this area so far in my previous videos covering San Diego Transit, so I figured it would be a pretty good time to do this before I leave San Diego, before I leave California. I'm gonna talk about that a little bit later in the video and give you some other updates about the future of this channel. But so far, I would like to speak a little bit about this street, Broadway. This is the highest frequency bus corridor here in San Diego. There are lots of different bus lines, more than a dozen lines passing through this street in the downtown area of San Diego. They used to have streetcars running here in the past, back in the day, and then they tore them down along with all the other cities in the United States. Streetcars or trams or trolleys, they were turned down and replaced with buses, and that's what happened here on this street in San Diego. Now, one interesting fact is that this street right here in San Diego is a great example of how city and transit planning is done in the United States. Basically, one single street is chosen somewhere close to the middle of downtown, and that's where most of the public transportation ends up running. In this case, it's Broadway here in San Diego. In other cities, this street might be called differently. It depends on the city. It's not always Broadway, but the idea is to have all the buses running on one single street as opposed to having them more spread out, covering different parts of the city or different parts of downtown. And this is a very big dramatic difference if you compare it to other cities in Europe and Asia, because in cities like Zurich, for example, or Paris, or Taipei, or basically most other big cities in Europe and Asia, they try to cover different parts of the city pretty evenly, so that it doesn't matter where you live, most likely you will have easy and convenient access to public transportation. However, in the United States, I'm not sure how these decisions are made. But I think one of the main reasons, one of the main things they consider when they make these decisions is where it would be easy to operate transit without spending too much money, rather than thinking about where it's going to be most convenient for people to use it. I might be wrong, feel free to correct me, but it seems like that is the logic behind it. Just have one single street with lots of buses, and they think it's easy for people to transfer, which for some people, if you live right next to this kind of street, it's awesome. You have so many bus lines. During peak times, you can see buses running here every minute or 2 minutes, and it's pretty awesome. But if you live further away, 10 blocks away, 20 blocks away, not to mention even further, this becomes a problem, because if you're lucky, you can have one, maybe two bus lines running next to you on a 15-minute frequency during peak hours, sometimes 30 minutes outside of peak hours, little to no buses on weekends. And if you're far away from a street like this, using public transportation becomes really unattractive unless you have no other choice. But if you have a choice, you would rather drive. You don't want to spend 30 minutes waiting for a bus and then having to transfer to another bus or trolley, and then possibly transfer again. Basically, if you want to make public transportation attractive, I think it's pretty obvious. You want to make it as fast, easy, and convenient and affordable as possible. And it does appear to be the case on this street here in San Diego, but if you go further away, if you have to walk 30 minutes to get to the street and then wait for a bus and then transfer to another bus, it just really becomes unattractive. Me personally, I love riding buses. I love riding trolleys. I lived here in San Diego for many years, and I think you really have to have a car here in most cases, unless you live specifically in downtown, close to all these buses and trolley. And even right now, we are not in the middle of a peak time. Right now it's kind of 11 a.m. in the morning, so the peak hour is gone. And you can see that we don't have that many buses running here at this time. You will see a bus here and there. And remember, each bus is a different line, so it might take a while to wait for your bus. In Europe and in Asia, buses usually run more frequently, and it's a lot faster to get to where you're going using public transportation than driving. Whereas in most cities in the United States, including San Diego, most of the time, it's much faster to drive than using public transportation, unfortunately. And that's why a lot of people who would even consider taking transit usually end up driving, including myself, because it's way too long. I used to live in El Cajon, and it would take me a couple of hours to get here, having to take a bus that runs every 30 minutes and then transferring to the trolley. So it's really taking a while, especially the long wait times. And then they have all these bus stops every couple of blocks, making buses really slow. Sometimes you would really only need 2 minutes to walk from one bus stop to the next, which means if you are in the middle between two stops, it takes only 1 minute to walk to the nearest stop. And I think this is way too short of a distance. Ideally, it should be at least 3 minutes or something like that. So I would remove at every other stop, and that would significantly speed up the bus speed, because they wouldn't have to stop every block or every 2 blocks. But this is a topic for another video. I did cover this in my detailed analysis on San Diego and other cities that I've covered. Now I do want to talk a little bit about my future plans for this channel. As you may have noticed, my detailed public transportation analysis series covering different cities like Washington, D.C., Las Vegas, San Diego, Bangkok, they are not being watched as much as I was hoping they would be. It does take hundreds, if not thousands of hours to produce that kind of content. It requires a lot of planning, writing a script, thinking it through, then recording the videos, recording B-roll, editing, putting it all together. And this kind of time investment can be justified only when there are a lot of people watching it and it's monetized, and I'm at least getting something for the time I'm spending. But in that case, it was not the case. And maybe it will be in the future, but so far I'm looking, I decided that I need to find a way to make videos more efficiently and faster without having to spend too much time on editing, because otherwise it's just not sustainable and not possible to keep the channel going. Again, those detailed reviews with heavy editing, they require hundreds of hours to complete, and it's just not possible. So I did some testing. I got special equipment. I got this phone that allows me to film the back and the front, as you can see, which I think is pretty cool. And basically, I'm going to try to film videos like this and see how the audience reacts, see if you guys enjoy it or not. Sometimes I'm gonna talk a little bit less than today, and just show more public transportation and maybe give some comments here and there. And my focus is not gonna be just United States. I'm gonna be traveling to different cities, different countries around the world, and showing you what it's like to explore each city, and what it's like to use public transportation in each city. What are the good parts? What are the bad parts? What it feels like. I'm gonna try to look for some vintage transit vehicles when I can, because that is my personal passion of mine. It's easy to find new buses, it's easy to find new trains. It's not always easy to ride something old that's gonna be history. And a lot of these vehicles are going to be out of service pretty soon in many cities. So that is my plan, to cover remaining vintage transit vehicles in the next few months. And having said that, I'm gonna be leaving California and traveling to different countries and cities in Europe, starting with London, then heading to Brussels, then heading to heading to Sofia, the capital of Bulgaria, then heading to Bucharest, the capital of Romania. Both of those cities offer lots of vintage transit vehicles, and in general they seem pretty interesting to explore. And then I'll be heading to Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh City, and Singapore, and maybe Japan, maybe Korea, maybe China. We'll see how it goes. I'm gonna be gone for about 5 to 6 months, and then come back to the US and continue reviewing American cities. So that's the plan. Now I will start heading back in the opposite direction so you can have an idea of what it looks like heading back. This is as good as it gets in terms of the city views in San Diego. This is the main street with the skyscrapers. I also like a couple of streets that way, a couple of streets that way, but that's basically what you get when you are in San Diego. So going back to my plans, I'm gonna be posting videos like this. I did testing for this phone, for this camera. I got the mic here, so everything should be seen pretty clearly, and you should be able to hear me pretty well. And this way I don't have to spend so much time on editing. I can just film it and post it, and this way I can keep up with posting videos frequently, and hopefully that would help the channel continue growing, because I was definitely hoping for more, for a larger audience. And I do appreciate everyone who's subscribed, everyone who's watching, everyone who's leaving a comment. This means a lot, and I hope you can stay on the channel. I hope you can find the new content as interesting as the older content. And if you have any tips or suggestions, I'm always going to be happy and grateful to hear it and take it into consideration for future reference. One cool thing I want to show you is with this phone you can also do kind of live editing. So I can switch angles. Right now I just switched to the wide angle camera, which allows me to cover a little bit more, a bigger field of view. I wish I could also do this on the selfie camera, but that's not possible. But I'll be able to also show close-ups if I want to anytime, like this. This is the close-up camera, and this is the main camera, and then this is the wide angle camera. So if you are still watching at this point, let me know which field of view you like the most. I'm gonna try to have a balance, but probably mostly using the main camera and the wide angle camera. So this is the plan. Again, thank you very much for watching and being a part of Transit Nomad family. Please consider supporting the channel on Buy Me a Coffee, or subscribing, or leaving a comment on YouTube. And I hope to see you soon. I'll be leaving in a couple of weeks, and I'll start posting from London. In the meantime, I'll still continue posting my Bangkok series. Even if you're not into Thailand, you're not interested in Bangkok, I still recommend checking them out, because it's really interesting for a transit lover to explore transit. I believe so, at least for me. I watch YouTube videos covering transit in different cities around the world, and it's always interesting. And sometimes that's how I discover cities that I want to visit in the future. And sometimes I learn something about transit that I didn't know before. So I do recommend checking out those Bangkok series, especially considering the fact that in the near future, once I'm done posting those series, I won't be making content like that. So it's kind of like a last chance to enjoy it. And if you guys have any additional questions, feel free to leave a comment below. And I hope to see you soon. Thank you again, everyone. And I look forward to seeing you in London. Bye-bye.